So after a rained out test session at Norwalk on Wednesday, Thursday our goal is to get everything ready to go to Cincy Street Nights Friday. Now, Kenny wants to go too, but to get Kenny down there, we need to get Kenny's Suburban fixed. So I've got Jeremy out back working on that. And I'd like to work on this 327, but before I can work on the 55, I've got a lawn tractor problem to deal with. I think I've discovered the problem.
Yeah.
You see, my lawn tractor
Has
runs
rats.
really good until I get about halfway done with my yard, and then it starts dropping a cylinder, and it pops and cracks and sounds like it's going to explode. I think I have discovered the problem. My heat shields are packed full of mouse nests. It's causing the engine to get hot and closing up the valve clearance and causing one cylinder to drop.
She's running a little hot.
She's a running hot, boy. Yeah. Here, look at this. Oh, I got the mother load, son. Yeah. Look at here, boy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look at all that.
Your mower has rats.
You know what my dipshit brother would say?
What?
Whack a mate. Oh, shit. Here he comes.
What are you doing now?
Maintenance.
I doubt it. What, did it break to the point you can't use it? Yes.
My brother's always given me a ration of shit about lack of maintenance on everything I own. The problem is he's the one in charge of maintenance. You told me that this thing's problem was electrical and that you have fixed it, and I am saying bullshit because it's still doing it, and I believe that I have diagnosed the problem correctly. The problem is
It's owned by you.
the problem is it's packed full of mouse nests. It's overheating and causing the valve clearance to close the rocker arms, and then that means it starts missing and popping and cracking and aggravating the ever-living shit out of me. So, after your misdiagnosis,
You know what that is?
huh?
It's a lack of maintenance.
All right, Tommy, so when are you going to start weed eating for me?
My battery.
Your battery's charging. Oh, you've got to wait for your battery to charge.
Where's your gas-powered weed eater at?
You blew it. Oh, wait, I have a new one. It's in the garage, but my good one you blew up because you mixed the fuel wrong.
Still doesn't make something. You're missing something because I'm still weed eating your yard.
It's your job. So once I got my lawn tractor fixed and Tommy got his batteries charged, we got the lawn taken care of so that we can get through with this and get ready for Cincy Street Nights. I unload the Malibu and stick it in the shop so I can work on it a little bit, hopefully this evening. Ever since I installed the nitrous controller on the Malibu, I haven't had any way to purge it through the engine, and in order to run 1150, I have to spray this Malibu on the controller. And with index and bracket racing, consistency is key. And in order to be consistent with nitrous, you have to be able to purge. But as usual, before I get to working on my Malibu, I've got more honey list stuff to do. Vicky wants an entire skid of mulch delivered and set out back so that this weekend she can work on flower beds. So me and the turd barrels hop in the dually and we head to Pataskal to True Value to pick up a skid of mulch. Sometimes juggling regular day-to-day duties and racing can be a challenge, but somehow we always find a way to get everything done. It honestly takes every single one of us working every day to keep up with everything we've got going on around here. From lawn work to race cars and everything in between. I couldn't do it without Kenny, Harley, my brother, my boys, my wife, my parents, everybody. We all pull together to keep this thing going. So anyway, while I'm working on this honeydew list of mine, Jeremy and Kenny start pulling the 327 apart out in the garage. The only thing Austin from Lucor knew about this engine was it was supposedly the original engine out of his Impala, a low mileage, 300 horse 327. However, I noticed the head gaskets do not appear to be original, and this thing is exceptionally clean inside. It still has the old canister style oil filter, which Kenny was not familiar with. But Market A1 knew exactly what I was talking about when I asked if he had a filter element for a '67 Chevy Impala. He had one in stock. While I was down at A1 visiting Mark and picking up supplies, Harley's busy shipping orders, and my mom and dad stopped by to check out the progress on the 327. And Junior wanted to show mom and dad his Nova while they were there. He about blew my mom's head off with the exhaust system putting it on the chip. When I got back, my dad and Kenny had realized something very important. This 327 is 30 over. There's a reason it's so clean inside. This thing's been overhauled at some point. It's got forged 327 30 over pistons and a forged steel crank in it. This thing is going to be an absolute perfect match for mom and dad's 55 Chevy. Anyway, we pull the Nova inside and let Billy work on his car for a little bit while I do some editing and fly the drone for some evening shots. Vicky's made dinner for everybody, turkey and noodles, mashed potatoes, and she was pretty excited that Tommy and Billy are both going to be here for dinner with us tonight. So as Tommy's pulling in, Kenny's just about to pull out and head back home as we sit down to eat dinner together. And then finally, after a long day of honey-do lists and working around the house, I get an opportunity to pull my Malibu inside and get this nitrous kit set up so that I can purge through the motor. Once I had all my electrical work done on the Malibu, I pulled the Malibu back outside so I could push Billy's Nova inside. I don't want it to sit outside in the rain overnight. After that, I went straight in and got to bed. I need to get some rest because I plan on racing tomorrow at Cincy Street Nights. Friday morning, I got up and drove the Malibu down to the marathon station and put about 6 gallons of gas in this thing just to make sure it's got plenty of fuel in it to race all night at Cincy Street Nights. I drove the thing back to the shop and put it in the trailer, tied it down, and we all got ready to get on the road. It's about a 2-hour trip from our house down to Cincinnati to Edgewater Sports Park, and I had plenty of time to think about what I wanted to do to set up my program in the nitrous controller to hopefully make this thing run 1150s tonight. It ran 1130 at 110 at Norwalk on Wednesday. So I think I've got an idea, but we'll see how it goes. We get our pit spot set up, I take the Malibu through tech, get my number and my ET put on the window so everybody knows what class I'm in, and head straight to the staging lanes to make my first pass on nitrous, on the nitrous controller, and hopefully this thing will turn on a decent ET on the scoreboard. When I pulled into the burnout box for my one and only time shot, I happened to be pulled up right next to this Tesla. You'll see how that works out later in this video. But it was a really good pass for both of us, straight off the trailer. All right, guys, so the first hit right off the trailer was pretty good. Just, you know, we were at Norwalk a couple days ago, and just years of experience in screwing around with bracket cars and index cars and nitrous controllers. I just took a stab at what I thought should be close, and it just so happens it went 1152 at 116 right off the trailer. So that was a really good hit. It didn't spin at all. The burnout was clean. The nitrous kit came on nice and clean. The progression was perfect. I delayed it 2/10 and had a 1-second ramp in it just to bring the nitrous in nice and gentle. And I couldn't have asked for a better first pass. The car is phenomenal. The Viking dual adjustable shocks are on point. I couldn't be happier with this car right now. It is really, really good. So after a very successful first pass, I decided to let the Malibu cool down and hop on the golf cart to go check out all the scenery. And I wanted to check out all the other cars that were entered in 1150. And guess who showed up in just the nick of time? Mr. Kenny Powers. The only problem is his Camaro has a problem. It's breaking up something terrible on nitrous. And Kenny felt like the problem was the nitrous kit itself. So we bring it back to the pits, pull the hood off of it, and I go through everything from one end to the other, and I can find nothing wrong with the nitrous system. So I told Kenny, take the Camaro back up and make a motor hit and see if it's the nitrous system or whether we have something else going on with the Camaro. And unfortunately, it was something else. The Camaro consistently pops and cracks and breaks up as soon as Kenny puts it in second gear. So we've decided for tonight just to focus on the Malibu and trying to get me through first round. Hopefully I'll be able to shake the rust off and do halfway decent tonight. All right guys, so we're up here for round one, 1150 index. Once the sun goes down, the air should get a little better, the track should get a little bit better, and that 1152 that I ran should turn into about a 1148 or so. I'll be holding a little bit, probably first round or maybe second round. We'll just have to see if we can get through first round first. Not sure who I'm running yet, but I've got a good tune-up, the car's good. I seem to be okay on the tree, so we'll see what happens. All right guys, so looks like I'm paired up with this black ZL1 late model Camaro. Possibility that car could be faster than 1150, but I don't know. So here's what my plan is. I'm leaving the tune-up alone, exactly the way it was on my test run. I'll hit the light as best I can, but what I'm gonna do is if he's all over me at 60 feet, I'll hold my shift points from 6,500 up to about 7,000, and that'll speed the car up considerably. And if he's all over me, I'll speed the car up by holding those shift points out a little longer, and then I'll go down and drop him on his head, make him break out if he's just trying to pace me. Okay guys, so I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see in the video. The Malibu is perfect. It left the starting line perfect. The suspension and shocks felt perfect. The ramp came in perfect. Everything was beautiful. I ran it down there just past 1,000 foot, ripped the gas on him a few times and hit the brakes just to make sure I didn't go under. What that means is brake out, go too fast. And my wind light came on, so we'll see how fast the car went. I held second to third gear out there just a little bit longer because I was concerned. He was back there a little bit, but I was a little bit concerned he might have some top end charge on me, but he didn't. So I was prepared to turn him loose, but he just couldn't get there. Let's see what the time slip says. Thanks, buddy. Oh, wow. All right, so the Malibu picked up in the 60 foot considerably. We were fast. We were real fast. I went 1154 at only 104 miles an hour, so I was down 12 miles an hour from my time trial. So, you know, as I was saying earlier, as the sun starts to go down, the air starts to cool off, this thing's going to pick up a lot because, well, for one thing, the carburetor's fat when it leaves the starting line. You see black smoke roll out of it when it leaves. So I still got a little bit of tuning to do on that. But when they're rich like that and the air starts to cool off, they tend to get fast when the air cools off. They'll pick up a bunch, and this thing did. It went 159, 60 foot, 726 at 93.98. I think that's the fastest I've seen this thing go so far in the 8th. But 1154 on the brakes hard, and he was nowhere to be found. He's 1162 at 117 flat on the deck. He can't get there, so we're through first round. We'll see what happens. So as the night air rolls in, second round comes up, and I get paired up with this really cool looking old Dodge pickup. All right guys, we're up here for second round. I should be the first pair out in 1150. It looks like I got this little Dodge pickup truck with dual fours sticking through the hood over here. Sounds pretty good. young man likes working on it, I imagine. So I'm sure he's fairly sharp at what he's doing. Good luck, buddy. He's over here giving me the thumbs up. I'm not sure how he's planning on pulling this off. He's on a hard tire going 1150s in that pickup, so it must mile an hour like crazy is the only thing I can figure. But we'll see how things go. I've got the same tune-up that I had the last round in it, and I should be setting about 1146, 1148, somewhere in there. Just see what it does. If it slips a tire, I should be okay. Because I'm on the controller, I can't just reach down and grab the nitrous to make it up down there. So I don't really have a choice but to maybe set just a little bit fast, just in case something happens, you know, gust of wind or you spin the tire or something, you know, you never know what's going to happen. So you always want to make sure you can cover the index, but you got to have some idea how far under you're going so that you can get rid of it if you have to. So we'll see how things go. We're going to try and get through second round. What I had not yet realized is this old Dodge is four-wheel drive. It's not just two-wheel drive. And this kid behind the wheel is pretty damn sharp.
Old man's garage. See Miss Nikki back there filming for him. He called her Miss Nikki all about. Beautiful Malibu though.
Now, two things really shocked me here. One, this kid treed me. Two, that Dodge is right next to me at 60 feet and he's pulling away, which I had figured a truck would mile an hour well. But what I didn't realize is this kid's actually pretty sharp at the finish line too. As you can see here, he cuts me loose, but I cut a little harder.
Well, what do you know about that?
Well, I'll tell you what, that kid's pretty sharp. Sorry, all my stuff's in the front because I hit the brakes on him down there.
Oh.
That kid's pretty sharp. That kid treed me in that freaking Dodge pickup truck. He treed me by a good bit. I was shocked because he was on a hard tire, dialed 1150. I'm like, there ain't no freaking way that old Dodge run 1150 on a hard tire. I'll be damned if he didn't. He treed me and he pulled out there ahead of me, and I held the gear change out a little bit longer to speed the Malibu up.
Yeah.
To try and force him. I didn't want to give him any room to back into me. And he was out there about a car length on me, and I just freaking shipped him at the last second. And we both went the same.
Yeah.
We both went 11:45. He went 45.6, and I'm 45.7. I beat him by 1 foul.
Yeah, that's what the announcer was kind of saying. Holy crap, that was close.
That kid's sharp. He had me snowballed a little bit.
Snowballed?
Yeah, I thought maybe that was going to be an easy round. It was not. All right, guys. So we're up here for round 3, and I've got a little yellow S10 Blazer back here. Looks pretty racy. But I'll tell you what I'm doing is I'm watching the nitrous bottle, and the bottle pressure has stayed pretty high so far. The bottle pressure will start to nose over a little bit here pretty soon, so that should knock a little ET out of the car as the bottle pressure drops off. It's getting cool out, so the engine's making more power, but the bottle's got less pressure. Should even itself out a little bit. We'll see how it goes. So this is the 4th pass on this bottle for tonight, and I know sooner or later I'm going to have to swap it out, but I think I'll be able to get through this round without any problems. Now, one thing I'm keeping an eye on is each round I purge the nitrous through the engine, and each round it takes a few more bumps of the button to get the system cleaned out, which tells me the bottle is getting lower and lower. However, I'm able to use my Nitrous Express automatic bottle heater to maintain bottle pressure regardless of how much nitrous is in the bottle. The little Blazer jumps out to an early lead, and it looks like he's treed me just a little bit. However, once the nitrous progresses in, the Malibu quickly pulls away in high gear.
He's 4 above, tire side was 7 above. The Malibu rolls it around next.
All right, guys, we got through 3rd round. I feel like that Blazer treed me a little bit. I need to watch the video back to see, but I feel like that Blazer treed me a little bit. and I held the shifts out there just a little bit longer than I normally would. The car ran good. I pulled ahead of him down there just past the 8th and ripped him a couple times, and I was waiting for him to drop me. I was waiting for him to hit the brakes and turn me loose, but I don't think he did. I cut and I tried to back into him and cut it as close as I could. We'll see what the time slip says. Thanks, buddy. I'm 11:54 at 103 miles an hour. He did tree me just a little bit. The Malibu's right there in a 60 foot. I mean, it's right there. That just come down to he couldn't run the number. He's 11:57. He must have cut. He must have cut. He cut me and I cut him at the same time, and it was just a situation where we were both trying to give it up. But I come out on top on that deal. Sometimes you get lucky.
Well. Another one.
Yeah.
Wait,
that was a tricky one. He cut and I cut at the same time, but I cut harder. And I don't know. We'll see. The car was right there where it should have been, as far as the ET and the mile an hour. But it was just one of them things where I was driving away from him in high gear, and I think I felt like he saw it. And I knew if I was in his position, I would dump me on my head. So I was watching it, and when he dumped, I dumped. But I cut hard.
Yeah.
And I come out the winner on it. So another one down.
Another one down.
All right, guys. So I've got the buy into the final. I'm gonna run this one down through there, see what happens. I think the bottle's getting low. It should be getting low. So this is a good data run for me, just to see, you know, this is a good chance for me to see what the bottle does on the 5th pass, you know what I mean? So that's quite a few runs on a full bottle, but I'm only spraying 150, so we'll see what happens. No sense showing you what's going on outside the window because there ain't gonna be nothing. But I am gonna go ahead and put it in the right-hand lane so I can get a lick in that lane. I ain't been in that lane all night. And it looks like the Tesla is taking the left lane. There may be a high probability that he'll win this, but we'll see. As I roll up to the ready line, I watch the Tesla's wind light come on in the left-hand lane, and he's run dead on with a 0, the 1150 index. I really need to make a good lick on this, and I feel like if I take a guess at the light, I could have a huge advantage in the final, because we're foot braking on a 4/10 Pro tree here. So I take a shot at it, and unfortunately, it goes red. So here's where we're at. I just went 48.8 on a 50, and the Tesla went 50 with a 0. This is going to be a barn burner. So,
what do you know?
I think the bottle is just about empty, but the car is considerably slower in that right-hand lane than it is the left. So the Tesla won in the left lane, I'm in the right, and I'm going to take that right lane because that gets me closer to a 50. Because in the left-hand lane, I'm going like 44.
Yeah.
In the right-hand lane, it just went 48.8. So I'm going to take that right lane.
Now, could you have imagined you'd be in the final tonight?
It is what it is. Just out here hacking my way through it.
Hacking your way through it. That'll do.
So when I get back to the pit, I have Kenny go ahead and pull the empty bottle out of the trunk of the Malibu and swap it for a full bottle that I had sitting in the race car trailer. While Kenny works on that, I work on trying to pull as much heat out of the engine of the Malibu as possible. The Malibu has a mechanical water pump, so when the engine's shut off and the fan's running, the water isn't circulating through the cooling system. So I have to start the car and shut it off every few seconds to circulate that water. If there's one thing you don't want to do on a nitrous application is run the engine too hot, because the ring gaps could come together and break a piston. And that's what I'm thinking about as I come around the corner into the burnout box beside this Tesla that everybody's all worried about. I've heard nothing but, what are you going to do about this Tesla? What are you going to do about this Tesla? The air doesn't affect it, the heat doesn't affect it. Well, there's only two things that really matter. One is I hit the tree as good as I can, and the other is that I get through the finish line just ahead of that Tesla by as small a margin as possible. If I can do that, batteries or gas-powered engine makes no difference to me, or the timing system at Edgewater Sports Park.
I'll be darned. That's awesome.
Fucking beat him. I fucking beat him.
What fucking Tesla?